Hey you guys, it's Toya and thank you for watching ToyaJTV. Today it is week 12 of the How to Stretch and Relax series. We have made it to 3 months. Give yourself a pat on the back, a round of applause. So this is 12 weeks, and if you made it this far, guess what? You only have a little bit further to go, just 4 more weeks to go, because I typically recommend that you go at least 16 weeks in between relaxers. And on next week, we'll get into exactly why, okay? Week 13, we're gonna do a deep dive on why you should stretch your relaxers and what happens when you don't, okay? And that'll give you a little bit more insight and a little bit more clarity. But just for now, just trust me as a professional, try to go 16 weeks, AKA 4 months, okay? Again, we'll get more into that in depth next week. This week, we are going to talk about how to customize your own hair care routine. Because I know a lot of people, you'll look at somebody else and you'll say, okay, well, she's doing this, so I'm gonna do this. And then sometimes you get frustrated because what that person's doing may not work for you. And even myself, I know a lot of times, sometimes y'all will be like, oh, well, she used this on her hair, she used this on her hair. But you have to go by what your hair needs. So what I'm gonna do today is teach you how to understand what your hair needs. And if you have relaxed hair, I can pretty much give you a little cheat sheet on what your hair 9 times out of 10 is going to need. So the first thing I want to do is tell you what you should be doing when you shampoo your hair. Okay, we're going to go over all the steps and everything that you need to have a successful shampoo day. So first and foremost, I always, every single week, my first step is going to be a clarifying shampoo. The only time my first step is not a clarifying shampoo is when I do a pre-poo. We'll talk about that later, okay? I'm not even going into pre-poo right now because pre-poo, y'all gonna ask me, where's the pre-poo? Why am I sold out? When I get more pre-poo in, we'll do a deep dive on pre-poo, okay? But for now, we're going to go into each step of the shampoo process and everything that you'll need. The first step is always going to be clarifying shampoo. Okay? And this is just a little disclaimer. You do not have to use the by L. Jones collection. But I want to introduce you to my collection because that's what I use to get the results I get. And I also use this in the salon. These are all products created by a professional hairstylist to give you those professional results at home. So sometimes you may not be able to make it to the salon. Sometimes a lot of people that go every 2 weeks, they may shampoo their hair in between. So this is a great option for you to use at home, okay? You do not have to use the by L. Jones collection. However, I just want to tell you the things that you should use. And if you choose to use a collection, I would love that. But if you don't, just use something that's comparable. You want to use something that's gentle on your hair and that, you know, is going to do nothing but promote health in your hair, which is what these products do. So again, I always start with a clarifying shampoo or a deep cleansing shampoo. One benefit of this one, it is sulfate and paraben free. So even though it is a clarifying shampoo, I know a lot of times people, they kind of tend to shy away from clarifying shampoos because they feel like they strip the hair, which a lot of them can. This one is sulfate and paraben free, meaning that it is not going to strip your hair of its natural oils, but it is going to give you a deep cleanse without just completely stripping it of everything that's in there. Next, we want to move on to so you're going to shampoo one time with the clarifying shampoo. The reason why you want to do that is because a clarifying shampoo, a lot of times during the week, you are putting product on your hair. So you want to remove any buildup, any dirt, any oil, or anything like that that can build up on your hair. The clarifying or deep cleansing shampoo is going to do a fantastic job of doing that. So it's going to give you that squeaky clean feel, again, without completely stripping your hair. The second thing you want to do is you want to shampoo again. So you're going to shampoo twice. Really, you're gonna shampoo 2 to 3 times. The only time I use the clarifying shampoo twice is if I had braids or if I've had some kind of protective style where I haven't shampooed my hair in weeks, then 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna clarify twice. And then I'm going to go to the next step, which is to moisturize, do the moisturizing shampoo. So anytime you use a clarifying shampoo, you wanna follow that up with a moisturizing shampoo. The only time you will skip a moisturizing shampoo is if you have extremely oily hair. Most African Americans, aka Black people, most of us do not have oily hair. There are some that do. I have like a teensy-weensy handful of clients that have extremely oily hair, meaning within a day or two, your hair is oily, okay? There's nothing wrong with that, but we do have a different path that you want to take. So if your hair is extremely oily, you're just going to clarify twice and then you will skip the moisturizing shampoo. But if you feel like your hair is more on the drier side, which if you have a relaxer, permanent color, any type of chemical, or if you have both of those, I guarantee you your hair is not oily. Your hair is 9 times out of 10 is going to want to be on the drier side. So even if your hair is dry, do not skip clarifying. Do not skip a deep cleanse because you need that squeaky clean feel so you can have a clean slate. Anytime you feel like your hair does not have body, does not have movement, it's just stiff and staying there, you probably skip the clarifying step. So don't skip the clarifying step, whether you have oily or dry hair, okay? But if you have dry hair, you're only going to clarify once. If you have oily hair, you're going to clarify twice, okay? So take note of that. Moving on, the next step is going to be to use a moisturizing shampoo. In the By L. Jones line, there are a couple of options that you can use for moisturizing shampoo. This is the Extreme Moisture. This is in the original collection. And then we also have the Honey Oat Moisture Shampoo, which is in the Protein Strengthening and Repair collection. So the difference in between these two, this one does not contain protein and this one does. This is lightly infused with protein. A lot of people may try to shy away from protein because when you hear protein, you think about your hair getting hard, you think about your hair possibly breaking. But if you have chemically treated hair, aka relaxer or permanent color, 9 times out of 10, this is going to be the better option for you. Because again, chemically treated hair, you're breaking some of the bonds when you use a chemical. So protein is going to help strengthen that hair back up. It can tend to get weaker if you have a chemical. So a protein infused shampoo is going to strengthen that hair back up and it's going to still moisturize, okay? If you primarily need moisture, your hair is dry as the Sahara Desert, okay? You're going to use the original collection. It really depends. I like to alternate these. I use a lot of heat also on top of me having a relaxer. So most of the time I use this. If I'm ever in a position where I'm doing a protective style or I'm not going to be using any type of heat, maybe I'm just doing a wet set like a rod set, roller set, something like that, then sometimes I will use the Extreme Moisture. Either way it goes, your second shampoo is going to be a moisturizing shampoo. All right, those are the 2 steps of the shampoo process. Shampoo 2 to 3 times. The first time you're going to use a clarifying shampoo or a deep cleansing shampoo. And then the second time, you're going to use a moisturizing shampoo. This is going to add the moisture back in because you're going to layer that moisture in your hair because you want to get it to where once you have a routine simply means you do this all the time, consistently. Once you develop your routine, you're not going to have to say, what can I use for my dry hair? You're going to always be doing the same thing. So you're going to always be adding moisture. And if you have a chemically treated hair like myself, you're going to always be layering a little bit of protein in there also, which is going to always keep your hair nice, healthy, shiny, and bouncy all the time because you're going to have a routine. This is what I'm teaching you how to do right now is customize your routine. Moving on. This next part
It's going to vary from person to person. However, everybody on step three, everybody on step 3 is going to use some type of conditioner. You're either going to use a regular conditioner. In the By L. Jones line, we have the replenishing conditioner, which is in the original collection, and the honey glaze moisturizing conditioner, which is in the protein and strengthening collection. Okay, so just like with the shampoo, the pink label, protein strengthening and repair, this is lightly infused with protein. However, this is a moisturizing conditioner, but this does not have to sit for a long time. Okay, it's not a deep conditioner. It's just a moisturizing conditioner. The difference between a deep conditioner and a moisturizing conditioner, deep conditioners need to sit longer so that they can penetrate that hair. You want them to get inside that cuticle and penetrate that hair and do a lot of the work on the inside of the hair. We deep condition twice a month. Minimum, okay? Minimum twice a month. I shampoo my hair weekly. So 2 times out of that month, I'm going to deep condition. The other 2 times, I'm going to be using one of these. It is okay to deep condition every time. It is okay to do that, okay? So both of these, you really can just use them generously, coat the hair generously, okay? You want to get it over every single strand of the hair, comb it through, and then I normally shampoo my hair in the shower. So when I'm using these, I'll put these on. I'll shampoo my hair as soon as I get in the shower, before I even wash my body. I shampoo my hair twice. We talked about that. And then once I put the conditioner on, then I do my shower routine. I let this sit while I do my shower routine. So that may be 10, 15 minutes, maybe. And then after I do my full shower routine, then I rinse these off. Okay? Again, this one is going to provide a lot of moisture. This one is going to provide a lot of moisture, and it's going to strengthen your hair a little bit, okay? If you have a chemical, this is the better option for you. If you rarely use chemicals and if you rarely use heat and you only have one chemical, this is okay also. Because you definitely don't want your hair to dry out. There should be no reason why your hair is dry using By L. Jones products, okay? Now, if you feel like you need a deeper conditioning, like I've had somebody say, I use that and I feel like my hair is still dry, okay? The reason being probably is because you need a deep conditioner. Now, the options that I have for deep conditioning treatments, we have one in each collection. This is the intense moisturizing treatment. I like to use this. I use this at least once a month, and then I use this at least once a month. So I'm getting 2 treatments per month. So I alternate. 1 week I'll use this. The next week I'll use this. And then the other 2 weeks, I'm using one of these. Okay? So this one, I like to let this sit at least 30 to 45 minutes with heat. If you do not use heat, if you just put this on your hair, you need to let it sit much longer, because that means it's going to rely on your body heat to open up that cuticle and get inside the hair. So you need to let it sit a little longer. Clean up your house, do some stuff around the house, watch a movie, something like that while this is sitting, and then rinse it off. But if you don't have that kind of time, 30 minutes minimum, okay? Under the dryer with your processing cap, and then you're good to go by rinsing this. Again, this one, I love using this one because, again, if your hair is breaking, not shedding, because shedding is normal, but if you have breakage, this is going to stop that. If your hair is already damaged, this is going to repair that. That's why this is great for chemically treated hair, okay? And damaged hair. So if your hair is damaged and it's chemically treated, or it's damaged, or let's say you're natural, but your hair is just damaged, you want to use this collection, okay? Because it's going to repair that damage, and it's going to strengthen that hair back up and get you on the right path. So again, let's recap. Step 1, shampoo with a deep cleansing or clarifying shampoo. Step 2, you're going to Or step 2 is going to be the shampoo again. Depending on your hair, if your hair is very oily, you'll shampoo again with the clarifying shampoo. If your hair is dry to normal, then your step 2 is going to be a moisturizing shampoo. The moisturizing shampoo you use may be different from what I use or someone else uses, okay? So that's why I said you can determine what your hair needs. Then we're going to move on to conditioning. You want to deep condition at least, how many times? Twice a month, okay? So at one point, I'm going to deep condition with this. On another week, I'm going to use the Creamy Custard Reconstructive Treatment. That's what this is, Creamy Custard Reconstructive Treatment. The other week, I'm going to use Intense Moisturizing Treatment. Now, if I wanted to, I could just alternate this and this every week. But listen, I'll be honest, I do not have that kind of time to be sitting 45 minutes under the dryer every single week. Sometimes I am in a rush to get my hair done, but I still want it healthy. So these 2 will suffice on those other 2 weeks, but do not skip the deep conditioning, okay? Do not skip the deep conditioning. And also, this is a pro tip. When you deep condition, you want to make sure you're bringing it all the way to the ends. A lot of times you feel like your hair is not growing. And I know I say this all the time, but if you're new here, I tell people that if you feel like your hair is not growing, what you tend to do is focus on the root. You're like, my hair is not growing. So when you deep condition, you make sure you get the root. You make sure you get the root. When you're putting product on there, you making sure you get the root. When you're oiling your hair, you making sure you get the root. But it's not an issue of your hair not growing. Your hair is growing. If you don't believe your hair is growing, get braids one time. And in 1 month, you're going to be like, dang, these braids starting to look a little old. Why? Because your hair is growing. Your hair is growing as you're watching this video. That's not the issue. The issue is the ends. The ends are unhealthy and they're splitting, they're damaged, they're dry, they need to be trimmed, all of the above. But you're too busy focusing up here. You're not focusing on what's going on down here. So anytime you're conditioning, anytime you're doing anything to your hair, make sure you focus on the ends. This part of the hair is new. This part of the hair has been with you for the longest, and it needs the most care. So when you're conditioning in general, make sure, what I like to do is start at the ends and then work my way to the root instead of just slathering it on the root and then trying to comb it in. No, start on the ends, work your way up. That way, you can go longer in between your trims. Most of my clients can go at least 4 months in between trims. I know some people, the people that I know that get relaxers every 6 weeks, they're having to get a trim every 6 weeks too. And you know what? Your hair is only growing, not even a full inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch. In 6 weeks, it takes you 2 months to grow 1 inch of hair. So if you're getting a relaxer every 6 weeks and you're getting a trim at every touch-up treatment, then that stylist 9 times out of 10 is at least cutting an inch. But if you only grew 3/4 of an inch, you're getting everything you grew cut plus a little bit more. So you're going to always feel like you're stuck at one length. But it's not because your hair's not growing. It's because you're not taking good enough care of those ends. So if you space your relaxers out, which we'll talk about next week, it's going to also help you space your trims out too. That's just going to be a result of it. Because number one, well, we'll get into that next week. Let's move on. After you deep condition, then you're going to use a leave-in, okay? You have already started layering with the moisturizing shampoo, but a shampoo is still cleansing your hair. So it's not going to just make your hair real soft. You know what I mean? But it's going to soften it up more than it would with the clarifying shampoo. That's step 1 with the moisturizing. Step 2, you're adding another layer of moisture with the conditioner. Then we're going to add a 3rd layer, step 3, with leave-in conditioner. These are the 2 leave-in conditioners in the By L. Jones line. Again, this one, when you see pink and black, you know that's the original signature collection. This, again, has no moisture. All it's simply going to do is adding moisture to your hair. This one, vanilla milk, guess what it adds? Let me hear you say it. It adds a little bit of protein. Again, these products are infused with protein, okay? It's not going to be protein overload on your hair, trust me. But the vanilla milk is going to add just a little bit of protein, but both of them are going to soften your hair up tremendously. If you're having a hard time, you feel like you can't stretch your relaxer because your new growth breaks off, or you feel like you can't manage the two textures, these are going to come in handy for you, okay? Both of these. I love this one, but I also love this one. When I'm using heat, which I normally flat iron my hair every week. So 9 times out of 10, I'm going to use this. But I also like this. Both of them, when they dry down on your hair, it's going to make your hair so soft. But this is the third layer of moisture that you'll be adding. Are leave-in conditioners optional? Yes. I never skip a leave-in conditioner though. Never. Ever, 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 ever. Because especially when you have chemically treated hair, you need all the moisture you can get. So don't skip this step. Do not skip this step. I have now given you the tools to do your own hair care routine. So we know you need two shampoos, 1 to 2 shampoos. 9 times out of 10, you need 2. You're gonna need a clarifying and you're gonna need a moisturizing shampoo, okay? Then you're gonna move on to your conditioner. The conditioner you use, it depends on your hair, depends on what your hair needs. If your hair is breaking, you need something with protein in it. If your hair is very dry, you need more moisture, okay? But healthy hair is an equal balance of protein and moisture. So you can also mix and match, okay? You can mix, you don't have to use all of one collection or all of another collection. I mix and match all the time because this is only available in the original collection and I use this every time. And then some of the other products I use may be from the protein collection. It just depends on what I need for that week. And I don't do the same routine every week because again, sometimes I use this, sometimes I use this, sometimes I use this, sometimes I use this. It really just depends on what I want for my hair that week. If I know I'm doing a moisturizing treatment that week, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to use this also. Okay. If I'm doing a reconstructive treatment, then I'm probably going to use this as well. Okay. But you want to shampoo again, condition, leave in. At that point, you are good as far as the prepping your hair for the style. At that point, then you're going to do whatever style that floats your boat. Okay. You're going to do, in my case, I normally just comb my hair straight down, sit up under the dryer, and then I get ready to style, aka flat iron, curl, whatever. When you're fresh off in your relaxer, you really don't need that many styling aids or anything to like help you because your hair is already straight. But like when I'm getting deeper and deeper in my stretch, a lot of times what I'll do is now look at my roots. My roots are still laying down because I like to use the Whipped Honey Foam Wrap, which is a setting lotion in foam form. This is the Whipped Honey Foam Wrap, and with the Whipped Honey Foam Wrap, what this does, if you need to set your hair, let's say you're doing a roller set, a rod set, any type of wet set, I would use this. You can use this on twist out, braid out. You can even use this if you decide to get braids. You can even use this on your braids. Put it on there and then just rub it in, and it helps you to remove any frizz from your hair. But what I like to use it for is when my new growth is, because I have about, at this point, I have about an inch, maybe like an inch and a half of new growth. So it's been 3 months. So yeah, about an inch and a half. By next month, I should have 2 full inches of new growth. So in order to control that, I will put some right here on my edges and right here on my roots, and it lays them down, okay? And this does not make the hair flake, does not make the hair hard, does not leave a residue, any of that. Is very lightweight. So you can still have body and bounce, okay? So that's why I love this. I love this. Whipped Honey Foam Wrap. That's one thing I use when I sit up under the dryer, okay? When I sit up under the dryer. I do not use this if I'm just blow drying my hair because I just use the heat from the blow dryer to stretch that out. After that,
that's pretty much, you know, so then I blow dry. Typically I will blow dry. If you're sitting up under the dryer, you don't have to use this, but right before I apply heat from the flat iron, I do use the Silky Serum hair heat protectant. This is a Silky Serum oil, it's a heat protectant. So I like to use this, and when I use the heat protectant, guess what I do? I primarily focus it on the ends, because remember we talked, the ends are the oldest part of the hair. You don't want them drying out, you don't want too much heat on them, and that's going to protect your ends. So don't just focus up here. Do like this, and then put the rest on the roots, okay? But Silky Serum hair oil. Let's say it's not shampoo day anymore, but you just want to give your hair just a little boost of moisture. On those days, I use the Satin Moisture Cream. This is a hair moisturizer. This needs to be used on dry hair, as in your hair is not wet, okay? So this needs to be used on dry hair, and I only use just a little teeny tiny drop, and I like to use this at night when I'm about to wrap my hair up so that it can just soak up all that moisture. And then again, I just put a little drop, and guess what? I focus it on the ends and then work my way up. You use this sparingly. You use this sparingly. The only thing you use generously are going to be the conditioners. Everything else you use sparingly. And then for shine, I use Miracle Potion number 9. This is for shine, but don't mistake shine for moisture. Shine just makes it shiny. But a lot of people feel like shiny means moisturized. That does not mean that. This is what you need for actual moisture, okay? This not only adds shine, it helps with frizz protection, and it also helps your hair to smell. So it smells so good. This comes in 7 different scents. This one right here is called Stunner, and it's a fan favorite, okay? It's a fan favorite. I like all 7 of them, though. I cannot pick one. But these are like hair perfumes with benefits, okay? This is like your hair's friend with benefits, because not only does it add shine, but it helps to protect against frizz. If you're out in the rain, you don't have to worry about your hair frizzing up. That does not mean go play in the rain. That just means if you just happen to get to where you need to go. But this is going to help you. And then it adds shine, okay? And then after that, I'm pretty much done. I'm done. So that is your hair care routine. Listen, I hope you guys learned something, and I hope that you took something from this and you now know how to customize your own hair care routine. So you don't have to just copy everything I do, but I'm giving you a blueprint. Shampoo, condition, leave-in, styling aids, then finish it off, okay? So that is your blueprint for your hair care routine. This is week 12 of the How to Stretch and Relaxer series. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys next week. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.